Like as soon as Dex says something, he's over it. So
Yes.
Hey guys, we're
I've
live.
probably forgotten it after I said
Hey
it. Yep.
everyone, we are live.
hey, what's up?
Okay, welcome to the Daily 10 Daily Market Update with me, with Dex, and just Frank, the man Frank.
Just
Man
Frank. I'm Frank, man.
Just Frank.
Frank.
Regular old Frank. Good old Frank.
What's up?
I love Frank.
I missed you guys yesterday.
We missed you, man.
I was with Kung Fu in Massachusetts, and so we couldn't do our show together.
He lives in the most boring place in Massachusetts.
It's funny. I got there.
God, there's nothing there except good Portuguese sandwiches.
Oh, he was telling me about that one day, and I was like, "Oh, I'm doing this one meal a day thing," and I turned it down. Maybe next time I'll make him.
Oh, you crazy? Yeah, man, you got to do.
Well, plus, he's so fit. You get there and you're like, I don't need to eat.
Yeah, no, he is fit.
And he's like, yeah,
it's
sure
his diet of Frosted Flakes that keeps him thin.
Yeah. So he offered me that Portuguese food once when I was there, and I was like, oh no, I'm doing this one meal a day. So now we never eat when I'm there.
Dude, you don't know
so
you know the Portuguese. They know some.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I mean, the only thing I know of Portuguese food. I was like an intern in a church in Fall River, Massachusetts. This really great church. This great guy who founded it, and there was a lot of Portuguese people there. And so whenever they would do their potlucks, there'd be all this chorizo and stuff like that. And, although my wife says I say that wrong. So, but they used to have this almost like fried rice with the chorizo sausage chopped up in it.
So good.
Oh, it was so good.
So good.
But yeah, we'll have to do that next time I'm with Kung Fu.
Anyway, guys, the Daily 10. Back to the Daily 10. Dex, you got 10 minutes. Give us the market rundown,
Everybody's shutting the browser down and going and getting food now because
that's it. I gotta screw these guys.
So what's up? Sorry, go ahead, Dex.
All right, market rundown. Currently, right now, the market for the most part is a little flat. Dow futures up 36 points. Nasdaq 100 futures up 2.5. Even the S&P 500 up 2 3/4, and the Russell is down 8.9 points, almost 9 points. And the dollar is slipping also down 29 pips at 97.02. We did slide into the 96 handle earlier this morning. We went down to 96.78. 95 is the median for the dollar index. I call that the Trump White House administration support level, which is 95. They want the dollar above 95 at all times because that helps the import-export agenda that the White House has set with this whole trade war. In addition to that, your euro is still at the 112 handle, having a real tough problem with breaking above 113. It did go as low as 112.05, so we got to watch that. Also, excuse me, bonds did fall back from the 155 level. We're at 154.07. We're up 26/32, almost a full point. So you can't take your eyes off of that. Also, gold futures on fire, up $7.60. We did hit 1343.30 earlier, and we did start off at a low at 1331.30. So this market is remaining very strong. Finally, silver is starting to wake up a little bit, wipe the crust from its eyes. It's up 12 cents right now at $14.91.5. And your soybeans are down 1.75 or 1 3/4 at 8.68. And that gas is still falling because of the weather. It's down 4 at 2.33. And last but not least, your crude oil futures, all 5 cents, trading at $51.62, threatening to break down into that 49 handle. We should see about that. I think we're going to probably build a little mini support around where we are now, get a little bit of a pop, and then maybe continue the downtrend. Crude oil can do that. But here's the news behind the markets. Yeah. All right, so you heard me say that the Bitcoin futures was down $232.50, trading at 7,600 handle. All right, so threatening to drop below that. I do remember me warning everyone about this price level.
Yes, you did.
We are there. Okay, we are there as far as the pullback is concerned. Some would argue that the reason why Bitcoin is pulling back the way it is because it's responding to the enormous impact news that hit the wires and pretty much went undetected by the mainstream media, which is that Mark Zuckerberg has pretty much planned to take down Bitcoin.
How's that?
The way he's going to do it is he is coming out with his own stable coin, and it's going to be released.
It's going to be called Pictures.
I'm sure a lot of people are jumping to that one.
It's going to be released in several countries. He's already been talking to, the heads of the central banks and all this good stuff, and it's going under the auspices of, not just competing with Bitcoin, but he wants to take it away and pretty much replace it with his own coin.
He's a nut job who doesn't even understand crypto.
Has he actually stated that he wants to replace Bitcoin?
Yes.
You're kidding.
Yes.
I have a prediction what it's going to be. What? It's going to be all your naked selfies available on the internet.
Wow.
That's it.
It's going to be called the anti-privacy coin.
And privacy coin.
He's going to have the only person who will have the private key to the wallet is Mark Zuckerberg, and you have to send him. You have to send him a message on Facebook to get access to your coins.
Well, even though that's funny and hilarious, it's actually not far from the truth.
What did he say?
Basically, what they want to do.
I heard about this one.
I know this is very interesting.
It's funny.
Remember how everyone was talking down about the Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies and how it ain't nothing, but now all of a sudden they're spending billions of dollars behind the scenes to develop their own infrastructure. Well, this is what that is, and it's going to be called the world coin.
Ooh,
get it? One world currency, one world government. It's going to have the backing of all the central banks. Okay, so this is enormous news, folks.
He's literally calling it world coin. Are you sure you weren't trolled? Like I was about the preacher the other day.
No.
Wow. Because this sounds like he's trolling all of us with the most obvious.
Not at all.
Wow. I gotta look this up.
Folks, it's not like this is some out of the blue news. If you remember my documentary, the Federal Reserve and central banks versus the blockchain, I already exposed that this was coming. I told you this was what they were working on.
Hey, so, there's a story on Forbes from a couple weeks ago. Wow.
What does it say, Frank?
The headline, this is a couple weeks ago. Facebook and WhatsApp break cover with Bitcoin rival plans.
Ooh,
I mean, Bitcoin it's one thing to get into crypto. It's another thing to try to rival Bitcoin, which is,
but they're not rivaling it. They want to take it down.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So now I have more news. I'm not even done yet. I'm just starting.
Let's hear it, my man.
Okay, this news hits really close to home. All right, and there's been a lot of controversy over it, and this too has not hit the mainstream news. All right, media blackouts all over the place. You ready for this one?
Yes.
All right, the social media platforms, by the behest of the U.S. government, Homeland Security, because they are afraid of their people rising up and waking up, have decided to censor all conservative news and media and any conspiracy media, especially anyone or anything that talks about 9/11 or flat Earth, will be censored. They've already started.
Flat Earth channel.
They've already deleted dozens of YouTube channels and hundreds of videos. Some of the biggest YouTube channels have been demonetized. They across the board, they've enacted a new demonetization policy where pretty much everyone's being demonetized. Some of the biggest channels are being demonetized, and they changed their algorithm. The algorithms will no longer even place as far as, how they will recommend different videos and things of that nature. They're not even going to recommend any alternative media and nothing that has to do with the conspiracy theories and nothing that is what they consider the conservative right. So that is underway, effective immediately. And when I say effective immediately, I mean effective immediately. People have been posting up the correspondence they received from YouTube stating these facts. In addition to that, I don't know if you realized it, but it's already hit us. You've lost 1,000 subs, Mr.
I did.
You're down to 18. You were at 19,000 just
yesterday. We were trying to crest 20.
Yes.
And then we were watching I was watching the subscriber counts. It will go up 100, drop 200, go up 300, drop 500, go up 500, drop 600. It was the craziest thing in the world.
You lost 1,000, and the algorithm has changed, so it's not going to give you the true
No,
count for
all
your
you gotta do
video
is go on
views or
YouTube.
anything.
Go on YouTube, hit the trending. Go hit trending on YouTube. It's all mainstream media.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
all
now
mainstream media.
that segues into the next part of their approach. The next thing that they're doing is, we've already entered into 1984, folks. So what this means is everything is reverse speech. So anything that is good will be labeled as bad. Anything that's bad will be labeled as good. So they came out with this psychological tool that no one even caught, all right, calling the alternative media fake news. So now what they've done is they've also enacted their own like legislation, if you will, to censor anything that is not the mainstream media. The mainstream media is considered the real news, and alternative news is considered the fake news. So now you have been censored not just on social media, but across the internet, because Google is also involved in this. They had a secret meeting, Google and all of the social media platforms, which, for the most part is a cartel anyway, because they're all related and married to each other, like for literally. So you got, Google in bed with YouTube because they're one and the same. Then you got Instagram, and then you got WhatsApp and all these other tools. All this stuff is all owned by them. They have a monopoly. They are the Ma Bell of the internet, and they control and rule it. And not only that, but remember, whenever you have a conglomerate like this, a consortium, a cartel like this, they close the door on anyone even thinking about competition, because they lobby the legislators to put up barriers to make it impossible for you to compete with them. And guess what that is? Through how do you say this? A cooperative agreement with the Department of Homeland Security. Any media outlet that tries to come out and compete with, like, especially YouTube, will not be able to operate because they cut off their funding sources. They've already alerted MasterCard and Visa and PayPal and other mediums out there that you will not be able to accept those payments on the site. That's why a lot of sites that try to get off the ground, like Patreon and them, are struggling, and they will never be able to even compete with YouTube on that level because of that. They've cut off the funding sources. Now you think, why is all this overreach so necessary? Empires only do that when they fear the people. They fear the people waking up and rising up. Look at China. See, people always say, oh, whatever's happening in China will never happen here. It's already happening here. They've already enacted it. They actually have laws on the books to make it so. Why do you think that all these censoring of speech has already happened without law, without court of law, without due process or anything? You can't even fight it. What can you do? You can do nothing, because they own the platform and they own the voices on the platform. So they could demonetize, they can do whatever they want, and you cannot compete. Let's say, a bunch of, wealthy people got together and said, we're going to make our own YouTube, and we're going to make our own Google to be better than Google and all this other stuff. It would be impossible, because they control all the networks and switches, and they control the governments that have enacted these laws to make it impossible for you to operate, because it's all about control right now. They're rolling up everything so that it can fall under the Department of Homeland Security, so they can control and watch everybody and everything, because they fear the people. We're turning into China, where they're going to censor the internet and censor what you can do and where you can go, because they're tracking everyone already, and they're about to roll out this new technology with this 5K. And what's going to happen is, like I told you in my other documentary, they're going to be able to, in real time, see everyone and hear everyone in real time. So you won't be able to go anywhere or do anything without them seeing you. And this includes, crimes being committed. They'll be able to see everyone everywhere in real time. And you'll be like, how is that even possible? I'll tell you how it's possible. Because all those towers that they've been putting up, especially the 5K towers and even the older cell phone type towers. They've been installing additional secret boxes that will enable the technology to travel, and it's going to be even more than the UK. The UK right now still has more security cameras than any one place on the planet. But what they're doing with this new technology is going to make it easier for them to track everything in real time and keep these super drones in the air flying 24/7, all right, over all the major populations, and they'll be able to exchange data and all this stuff in real time. And also law enforcement will have a box which communicates with that, and they can download and get information. They can find people a lot quicker. Like when Amber Alerts come out, they'll be able to, boom, I know where that person is. And here's the funny thing too. All the cell phones have the backdoor technology where they can turn on your global positioning even with that. And other smart devices also have this backdoor thing. And that's why the NSA was in the news recently with this so-called virus. What that is, and this is the funny thing. A few years ago, back in 2009, everyone was afraid of the microchip, and I don't want to be, you're not going to chip me, blah, blah, blah. They said, okay, we already know that, and we know that you're aware of that, so we're not going to microchip you. We're going to microchip all your devices.
Yeah.
So they've microchipped all the phones. They've microchipped all the computers. They microchipped all the boxes for your satellite and for your cable. Anything that's a smart device
on, I keep hearing, man,
has that.
It's kind of creepy.
Hold on for a second.
You're given this dystopic future, and this chiming Mr. Rogers type bells are going off in the background. I'm getting creeped out.
That was an alarm. That was an alarm. That was my wife's phone. She left it in here by accident. So anyway, that's what's happening right now, folks. We've already woken up to a brave new world, and we need to realize it.
I was reading something about it was basically a thread. I think Jack Posobiec reposted a thread about what's coming with wearables in terms of the like the Google glasses style things, which I know didn't really make a smash hit, but it does seem to be the next logical step in terms of wearables. And I don't know who the guy was, but he was just listing some of the apps that are in development, or if he was or apps that are there already. But man, it was some scary stuff. It was like, yeah, if everybody's walking around with these, just imagine how quickly we went where everybody has to have a phone in their pocket, a smartphone,
right?
To the point where your little kids have them and your old ladies have them and everybody has them. What if we do make that transition where everybody does have something on their head that augments reality for them and is giving them real-time information? Even people who don't wear glasses, they'll have glasses on all the time.
Right.
If we make that transition that quick, where the technology is really cool and really useful and you got to have it, like you got to have a cell phone, like you got to have an iPhone or an Android.
Right.
The stuff, man, that this guy was talking about, it was like, wow, like things straight out of that Netflix series. What's it called? Black Mirror or something like that?
Black Mirror, yes.
Yeah, Black Mirror. Like stuff straight out of Black Mirror that is already a reality if you have these things, and not many people have them, so we're not aware of them. V, what about we heard that the Trump administration is going after breaking up Google and YouTube, which YouTube, of course, is Google. What's your take on that? Is that real? I mean, they did it with Microsoft, way back in the day.
Yeah. Well, the reason with Microsoft is pretty interesting. In the 80s, you have Microsoft. It's most wealthiest, powerful country, one of the most wealthiest corporations in the world. And the crazy thing about Microsoft at that time, they were not part of, they were just making billions, and the government wanted a piece. We have what's called a corporatist model here in this country, where corporations and government work cohesively hand in hand. So during the 80s and the early 90s, man, it was just Microsoft was doing their own thing. They didn't have a law office, and they didn't have a lobbying office, they didn't have a law office, they didn't have a headquarters in DC, nothing. They were just doing their thing in Redmond, Washington, and everybody's happy. But a bunch of greedy ass congressmen and government officials like, well, you know what? In order for you guys to go to the next level, you should hire lobbyists, and you should be here, and you should be lobbying with us, and blah 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 blah. And eventually, over time, they got sucked into the Borg. And now Microsoft has a headquarters in DC. They have lobbyists. They have this, that, and the other. If you are any sort of if you are a company, the reason why I bring that up is this: if you're any sort of legitimate company, you want to be $1 billion company, government's going to come knocking. And they're going to want to absorb you into the Borg, so to speak, right? They want to absorb you into the Borg. Now, here's what's unique. You have this whole entire antitrust investigation that has been launched by the Department of Justice into Google, into basically big tech. And the question becomes, is this real? I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. We need it.
Yeah, it needs to be broken up. And but will it at the end of the day produce nothing? Yeah, there's a chance of that. Like my thing is this is what I've always saying with the Trump administration in power. At the end of the day, whatever happens in terms of the white hats versus the black hats, the good guys versus the bad guys, whatever happens at the end of the day, all I know for sure is that we have a little bit of time to make a crap load of money. You got a little bit of time to make some wealth because the largest transfer of wealth in human history is about to take place. Do you want to get paid? Is what I always say. And what people need to do is increase their profits, increase their net worth as much as they can, and they need to figure out how the hell to get out of harm's way. That's the only solution. Like, if you're broke, you don't want to be in the position you're in when all this stuff is coming down. For you to build wealth, you got to do that now. And you got to decentralize yourself. Well, look, there's it's a war, man. It's an all-out war. I mean, I look at right now, you know what the most feared search engine is that Google hates? Google fears it. I mean, they fear it so much they've actually created URLs to mimic this particular search engine. Did you realize this?
No,
Nope.
what's that?
Which one is
DuckDuckGo. Oh yeah, of course.
DuckDuckGo.
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 Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, DuckDuckGo is what I use. I have my mobile browser. I have a Brave mobile browser, and I have also as my search engine DuckDuckGo, which is an amazing search engine that does real organic search. It's not a curated search what Google gives you, because I can't find real stuff on Google anymore, right? My kid has suffering from allergies, right? So I'm looking at aloe leaf extract for kids. You can't find nothing. All you get is curated, mainstream, corporate-owned BS.
So you noticed that. I was wondering when people were going to notice that they changed even the search engine. They changed.
Yeah, it's useless. Google's only purpose right now for like Chrome and everything else. It's great for finding local restaurants, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But if I want to get search, I want to get where's my nearest Five Guys? Yeah. Right. Fantastic. I use Google for that. Hey, what restaurants near me? That's what I use Google for. But if
they become afraid of the people, that's when they start. Yeah. They have to censor.
Oh, you can smell the fear. You look up a video that is even remotely edgy. And there's the Wikipedia article right below about the truth, quote unquote. So if you're watching something that has anything to do with 9/11 or, at this point, almost anything, they'll have an article right below setting you straight, making sure that you're not going to fall for an alternative view. And It's creepy as all get out, man. I mean, I notice it a lot. I don't know if it's on the desktop as much. I notice it like crazy on mobile, and it's Facebook and YouTube. Both have the little, pre-approved article right below whatever you're watching to make sure they set you straight.
It's almost impossible to find a dissenting voice.
It's very creepy.
Like if you go on YouTube, it used to be like when I first came to YouTube back in 2008. That's when one of my younger brothers introduced me to it, and I didn't know what I was looking at or what was what. And something just told me, "Hey, type in 9/11, see what happens." And I don't even know why I did that to this day. And when I did it, like it was like, oh, the heavens opened up, and boom, here was all this stuff about 9/11, dissenting views. Now, when you do that, it's going to bring up all the mainstream media stuff talking about it and how there is no discussion. It's a fact. It's already done. Just like climate change, there's nothing to debate or talk about. And if you don't agree with what we just said, you're an idiot.
Or worse, you're dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just I sent you guys on our Slack channel. I sent you a link.
Yeah, I saw that.
About Google versus DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo, they're terrified of it. DuckDuckGo is a very, very advanced search engine. It is real organic search.
Around for years.
Yeah, and it's getting better and better to the point that Google wants it. The guy won't sell it to him. They will not sell.
They must have offered him
a lot, and he won't sell it because, folks, there's I mean, Brave is a way better browser than Google Chrome. I mean, it's faster, it's more secure. What?
He's gonna get Hillaried. He'll end up having one of those accidental decapitation suicides.
So the whole DOJ.
He was very sad.
DOJ. That's funny. The whole DOJ antitrust, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's happening. I hope it gets real because big tech needs to stop. I mean, YouTube did the whole entire scorched earth policy today because of some soy boy Latino gay guy from Vox, little Carlos Manza. He complained that Steven Crowder was making fun of him.
Yeah.
And now advertisers are pulling out, and you got
he claimed it was hate speech. Was his thing?
Yeah, everybody's woke up this morning and everybody's demonetized.
Hate speech. Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah. So this is the world we're living in, man. And for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Something's going to give, dude. I mean, there's a new social media app that's out for people that are libertarian and conservative minded. It's called Parlay, and it's a Twitter rival. It's pretty bloody awesome, but it's in its fledgling state. And the app is extremely buggy. The desktop application is overloaded with the internet with internet traffic. So there's a lot of demand. Look, here's the thing. There's an alternative, but so many people are so bloody lazy. It's a crazy thing. I got I probably have really 20,000, 30,000 people that listen to the show. But how many actually will translate and say, hey guys, you know what, I'm on this platform. How many will come over? And we did the whole thing.
There's the network effect too, though. Like something starts to get used by enough people, and then all of a sudden it becomes a thing. Yeah, and it's like the average person, it's going to be like, well, I really like this alternative, but all my shows are on YouTube, and all the
all my content creators are on YouTube, and
exactly. And all my friends are on Twitter and Facebook. They're not on my weird right wing thing I want to go hang out on,
right? Or my weird libertarian thing or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So the thing becomes is like, okay, look, here's the deal. Your content creators are leaving. They're going on to this other platform.
Mm-hmm.
Do you follow? And some people do, but they're still on YouTube. So I'll give you an effect, right? Like we'll have 20,000 subs or something like that on the YouTube channel. We'll go open up a channel on DTube. We'll open up a channel on BitChute. 15, 20 people sign up.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey guys, I will give you the most hardest hitting geopolitical, geostrategic analysis that'll blow your mind away. Like some of the best work I've ever put out in years. No holds barred. Laying down everything, naming the names, the whole 9 yards. I'm putting it out on my Patreon. I said, guys, join me. And it's a drop in the bucket to compare to how many people here. And then when I leave, people, why are you over there? Why are you over there for, V? I'm like, dude, folks don't understand. If you don't support your content creators, there's going to be nothing left. There's going to be nothing left. So I think the future is, it's like, look. Man, I don't know, man. Something's got to give.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all know that the people who pull the strings on these things live in a very small bubble.
Yep.
Where any alternative opinion is seen as violence and hate speech, and so it's very hard for them to get outside of that. And I don't know. Hopefully the pendulum swings a little bit, and people start to care about speech again in this country. But we really do got to go, though. We got stuff we got to do.
Absolutely.
So we're continuing. Yeah, we've got two things we want you to know about. One is, and this link, we put the link in the description. We're on top of this today. We reversed the order of the shows wisely. So if you heard Dex talking about different market factors earlier, we're going to go and do even more of that on Frank Trades with Dex Live, and the link is in the description. That's going to be live in just a couple minutes. And, it's very exciting because I show some skin. The skin is on my head. but my beautiful bald head. But it's, it's skin. And then we have our weekly webinar. We're just doing it on YouTube this week. So set a reminder for that. That's Pulse Wave Trading for Beginners. People like to know what DEX does. And so we basically walk you through how to use his system to gain from the markets. And it's really powerful. It's really simple. It's really great. So please check those out. Those are both on the Pulse Wave Trading website. So we'll see you there. Me and Dex will be over there by like 5 minutes. As soon as this is over, we'll go, and I'll shine my beautiful bald head, and we'll be live. And what we do is we talk about what's going on in the markets, but we do things like if you want us to look at the Bitcoin chart, we pull it up and Dex talks about it. So it's pretty simple. And then of course, if you even more so, if you're in the watchustrade.io room, we're there to help and guide you if you're new and stuff like that. So but we always have a good time on there.
Absolutely.
Yep, I love it. I'm glad we do it every day.
Yep.
All right, everyone. We're over and out.